Dit is El Mundo met Studio Live. Een sing- en songwriter of artiest staat 1 keer per maand centraal in Studio Live.
Oké, onze studiogast is Davóg Rynne. Maar voordat we naar Davóg toe gaan we eerst even praten met Suzanne. Suzanne Loes, dat klinkt heel Frans. Ja. Je woont in Harderwijk en je bent getrouwd met een Fransman, heb je begrepen? Hè?
Ja.
En toen ben je op een reis door Corsica ben je Davóg tegengekomen. Klopt dat?
Dat klopt.
Ja, vertel eens, hoe ging dat?
Mijn man en ik komen al 10 jaar op Corsica. Er is altijd in september een muziekfestival. De Rencontre Polyphonique. En daar komen wij graag. We zijn groot fan van Aviletta, Corsicaanse groep.
Prachtig. Ja.
En daar hebben we Davóg ontmoet. Want hij was daar vrijwilliger bij het festival. Dus het is een heel gemoedelijk festival. Dus je hebt heel veel contact met de vrijwilligers. En je spendeert 5 dagen met elkaar in de citadel van Calvi. En zo hebben we hem leren kennen.
Wat leuk.
En 5 jaar geleden heeft hij zijn familie uitgenodigd om ook daar op te treden. Ja, en toen ging het helemaal los. Toen was het echt zijn moeder, zijn vader, tante. Ja, dus,
en toen ben je op mijn spoor gekomen. Ik geloof via Astrid Luitjes, dacht ik. Hè?
Klopt.
Ja, klopt. Ja.
Klopt, ja.
En toen werd ik zo enthousiast. Nou, die moeten we natuurlijk in ons radioprogramma halen. Ja. En het leuke is natuurlijk vanavond ook optreden in de Katharinenkapel in Harderwijk.
Ja, zeker. Heel spannend.
Het is alleen zo van, dit wordt uitgezonden na het optreden. Ja. Dus dat kunnen we helaas niet meer aankondigen.
Nee.
Maar goed, dat geeft niet. Ik ga naar Davóg. It's a very difficult name. To pronounce it.
It's an unusual name.
Yes.
Davóg, my mother would say.
Yes.
It's a very old Irish name.
Okay.
So don't worry, even Irish people kind of look at me funny when I say, what sort of a name is that? It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay, you're raised up in a very musical family.
Indeed.
So we've heard it. So your two famous uncles, Christy Moore and Luca Bloom.
Indeed, Christy is my mother's oldest brother, and Luca, or as we say, Barry, is my mother's youngest brother.
Yes. But your mother herself is also a singer.
And my mother is also a singer, correct, yes.
Right.
But a very recent singer.
Okay.
My mother, when we brought my mother to Calvi, she would have been still a very nervous singer. And it would have been very difficult for her. Going on stage in front of people singing would have been a very tense moment for her.
Okay.
And Calvi made that all better.
All right.
Coming to Calvi did, and when she came back from Calvi, she started playing the guitar.
Okay.
And 3 years later, she made her first album
at
the age of 68 years of age.
Great.
So it is never too late.
Okay.
Yeah.
Davóg, another question.
Yes.
You are living now in Lyon, in France.
Yeah.
How does that come?
Love.
L'amour.
Great, l'amour.
I fell in l'amour. I fell madly in love with a very beautiful French lady.
Oh, great.
And I moved to France in 2001.
Yeah.
I lived in Germany before that.
Yes.
And I moved to France in 2001, and we got married in 2004, and our twin daughters arrived in 2007. And now I find myself getting old and still living in France, and I enjoy living in France. Okay. It's a beautiful country. We've only recently actually moved out of the city of Lyon and to the lovely Beaujolais. Beaujolais. In the countryside. So I'm a country boy again.
Great.
That's great.
Great.
The only thing I miss is the sea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you've made a very nice record, Talk to Me.
Thank you. Yes.
It's, I think, a year ago you've made it?
This time last year it came out. That's right,
You made it in France or in Ireland?
I made it in, interesting question. Creatively, I made it in France.
Mm-hmm.
Recording, I did in Ireland with an old friend of mine, Martin O'Malley, in Milltown Malbay.
Yes.
So I went back to the roots for the actual making of the album, but I produced the album in France.
Okay.
And I'm very happy with the album. There's a lot of energy in it. There's a lot of political stuff in it, and some old traditional songs as well. So I'm very happy with it. I have a new album coming up.
Oh, great.
Hopefully being released this spring. Okay. My new album is an album of poetry.
Okay.
Because poetry is something I'm very close to. We will do a little recital of some poetry later on.
Great.
And so my new album is it's for the benefit of 2 associations. So it's a benefit album for a refugee association in Lyon and a homeless association back in Ireland.
Oh, okay.
I'm very close to the refugee crisis in
Yes,
France,
I understand.
obviously. I've been to Calais quite often, to the jungle,
Terrible.
as it was called, and been very involved in that whole thing.
Yes.
You know.
Okay.
So,
another question. You got a small tour in Holland,
indeed,
in Harderwijk.
my first time.
And also in Paradiso in Amsterdam.
Yes.
That's great.
How exciting that was. I did a concert on Tuesday night in the Paradiso.
Wow.
And I was very happy. A guy called Piet Vromans organized that for me.
Piet Vromans, yeah,
yes, you know him?
I know him,
and,
yes.
Piet was very kind to introduce me to a lady called Simone Toppers, I think her surname was.
I don't know her.
She's a lady who's involved in music promotion in Amsterdam.
Okay.
And they managed to get me into the Paradiso, and I was very, very happy to play there.
Great.
My uncles have played there, and it's a wonderful venue, and
Wow.
it has a certain prestige about
Wow.
it, I suppose. So
Sure.
I was very happy.
Sure.
Happy, yes. And it was my first concert in Holland was in the Paradiso. How extraordinary.
Wow, great. Now, you're very talented. You play 3 instruments, I think.
do, yeah. I play
the flute, the guitar,
the guitar,
bowdrum.
and the bowdrum.
Oh, yes. And you are a very talented poet.
I try to be.
Yes.
I like
great.
poetry a lot. It's something I don't get a chance to do in France, obviously, because France is a very French-speaking country.
Yes, I know.
And it's something I really appreciate coming up to the lowlands, both Belgium and Holland, because everybody speaks English.
That's right.
And there's a great appreciation for music and culture here in Holland that we don't really, we're losing in France, unfortunately. And so it's a great pleasure to come up here and play my music and read indeed my poetry.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now you will tell us about a poem. You said, "He stroked my beard" is the title?
Yes, indeed.
Yes?
He stroked my beard. As I was saying, I was very...
Strokes my beard, okay.
He stroked my beard. I was very involved with the refugee crisis since 2015 in France. And this poem is about it's about a young man I met in the Calais camp. He took care of the library in the Calais camp. This was his job. And his story is a very sad story, as a lot of these individual people's stories are very sad. And I think it's important to tell these stories to bring home the reality to people that refugees are people.
Can I even translate it short to the listeners?
Please, by all means.
Dus de bedoeling van dit gedicht is toch, je hebt vertel je een vluchteling ontmoet in Calais. En daar gaat eigenlijk het gedicht over. Even heel in het kort. Oké.
Yes. So I will recite this poem for you called He Stroked My Beard, and I will follow that straight away with another poem written by a dear friend of mine in France, an Irish friend of mine who's lived there for quite a couple of years, or nearly 40 years, I think she's there. And she wrote a beautiful, beautiful poem called Healing. Okay. So one poem follows another.
Okay, right.
So we'll start with He Stroked My Beard.
Yes.
He stroked my beard as the tears rolled down his face. He told me all about his fear, and in my heart he traced. He told me I looked like his dad, and he told me how it all turned bad, and how in the jungle he found hope. Hope among the hopelessness as he sorted through the books. He was the jungle librarian, bringing hope to every face. And he told me of his mother dear, and she so far away, and how he prayed that she was okay, and how he'd see her again someday. Hope among the hopelessness as he sorted through the books. He was the jungle librarian, bringing hope to every face. And he told me of his mother dear, and she so far away, and how he prayed she was okay, and how he'd see her again someday. He rang to tell me how his hopes were dashed, and how he was turned back from the land he thought would set him free. He was back in the jungle camp, back among the hopelessness. Hope Among the hopelessness as he sorted through the books, he was the jungle librarian, bringing hope to every face. And all he wanted was his job back, the dignity of a job worth doing, the dignity of a grateful smile, the dignity of being needed and wanted. Hope among the hopelessness as he sorted through the books. He was the jungle librarian, bringing hope to every face. And as he spoke, my heart it broke, and again he traced with gentle grace, and once again he stroked my beard and told me I was like his dad. One day, something gentle has to unfold. All the hurting into healing, balm the aching with gentleness. Something soft as a whisper has to speak wisely the words of the winds, light and wild with freedom, unclinging, ever free to blow and go their way. One day, something waiting for you forever has to catch the way out on the breath of that whisper, sweet and peaceful as a songbird's song. One day, the grasping becomes soft and silent unfolding the binding balms within, that fall in the fall of all the hurting that is now over.
Thank you very much. Very nice poem.
Thank you.
Great.
Yeah.
And the following number is Faithful Departed. What does that mean?
Yes, indeed. Faithful Departed now was written by a guy called Phil Chevron,
Okay.
who used to play with the Pogues.
Oh, the Pogues.
He
Wow.
was one of the other writers.
I like
of the
them.
Pogues.
Yeah. Wow.
Now there was Shane MacGowan,
Shane
who was also
MacGowan,
very
yeah.
known in the
Wow.
Pogues.
Yeah.
But Phil Chevron, he was a magic man.
Great.
He was a magic man.
Oh,
So I'll start this with this is the Bowron.
okay.
So listen to the Bowron. We'll listen to the Bowron for a minute to get into the mood of it. And help me to get into the mood, I'll give you another little poem, it's very short, which is the title of my new album, which will be coming out in the springtime.
Okay.
It's called Seeds of Hope, and we'll follow that with Faithful Departed. I am of yesteryear. I am neither man nor woman, or I am both. I am of the earthy field of wisdom. I am the ploughman of the sacred soil, sowing the seeds of hope. I am a truth-sayer, a seeker of truth. I am those ghosts of times past, but never forgotten. I am a key to this insanity, so that we, yes, we, may at last be free.
million secrets, and the trees they know more than they can tell. Ghosts and the saints and the scholars, they will haunt you in heaven and in hell. Rattled by the glimmer man, the boogeyman, the holy man, we're living in the shadows of a gunman. Rattled by your coppers and your grizzy old till, rattled until time stood still. Look over your shoulder, hear the school bell ring. It's another day made to measure history. I don't care if your heroes have no wings, this terrible beauty's been born. Faithful departed, we them e-carted, with graces imparted, bring flowers to thee. Oh well, the girls and the kips that proclaim their love for you, when you stumbled in they knew you had a shilling or two. They cursed you on Sundays and holy days when you stayed away by. And as you stood there a naked light, it hid your shame, and the shadows on the wall, they took all of the blame. The Sacred Heart's picture with compassion in his eyes, it drowned on the river of sighs. So let the grass go green over the brewery tonight. It'll never come between the darkness and the light, and there is no pain that can't be healed by the devil's holy water and rosary beads. I said faithful departed, we them e-carted, with graces imparted, bring flowers to thee. Well, you're a history book I never could write. Poetry and paralysis too deep to recite, and dress yourself, bless yourself, we won the fight we're gonna celebrate tonight by. I'll even climb the pillars like you always meant to. Watch the sunrise over the strand and close our eyes, and we can pretend that some will be the same again. And I'll bury you up right till the sun doesn't blind you. You won't have to gaze at the rain and the stars, and sleep and dream of chapels and bars and whiskey in the jar by. Woo! I said faithful departed, look what you started. An underdog's wounds aren't so easy to mend. Faithful departed, there's no broken-hearted, and no more distress in your world without end. This graveyard hides a million secrets, and the trees they know more than they can tell. The ghosts and the saints and the scholars, they will haunt you in heaven and in hell. This graveyard hides a million secrets, and the trees they know more than they can tell. The ghosts and the saints and the scholars, they will haunt you in heaven and in hell. This graveyard hides a million secrets, and the trees they know more than they can tell. The ghosts and the saints and the scholars, they will haunt you in heaven and in hell. In heaven and in hell. In heaven and in hell.
Exciting. Great.
Radio likes that one. Radio
great.
likes that one.
Yes. And now you're going to bring your last number, and it's a title song of your album, Talk to Me.
God, he doesn't stop, does he? He'll have the
Yes.
next song now. You're here to work. Let's go. Work.
That's right.
Jamie McAlive. Okay, no problem at all. I give you the next song with great pleasure.
Okay.
This next song, right?
All right.
This song is about homelessness.
Okay.
Now, Christy's uncle, he died on the streets of London, homeless, in the 1950s.
Oh dear.
So homelessness is something in our family that's very close to the heart. So we would have been quite active in homeless problems. And there is still homeless problems all over Europe.
Oh,
and
yes,
we all live in rich, wealthy countries,
Yes.
and we should not have one single person on the street, be they homeless people, be they refugees. And I think it's important for singers and poets to talk about this and to create awareness about this, because we don't really understand sometimes how somebody could get on the streets. And sometimes it's not that difficult to understand. This song is the title of my last album, which came out last year. It's a song called Talk to Me.
Yes.
And I wrote it about the homelessness. sitting on the bridge with an outstretched hand. I'm sitting on the bridge with an outstretched hand. I'm waiting for something to eat. I'm hoping for something to eat. I lost my wife and children about 5 years ago. I lost my wife and children about 5 years ago. She couldn't take my drinking anymore. She wouldn't take my drinking anymore. Sometimes I feel so much shame. Sometimes I feel so much shame. What must my children think of me? What must my children think of me? Sitting on the bridge with an outstretched hand. I'm sitting on the bridge with an outstretched hand. I'm waiting for something to eat. I'm hoping for something to eat. I get so lonely sometimes I could scream. I get so lonely sometimes I could scream. Why won't anybody talk to me? Why won't anybody talk to me? Why won't anybody talk to me? Sitting on the bridge with an outstretched hand. I'm sitting on the bridge with an outstretched hand. I'm waiting for something to eat. I'm hoping for something to eat. I'm hoping for something to eat.